Space Monkeys, blasting off with Alex Hatoum, his 5th, 6th, or 7th time on the show. You know him well, but here we are tearing down Decoded. One last interview for the night. Alex, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, man. Do I get a jacket?
Yeah, we have it. We're actually getting that made by Parody.
Awesome.
So it'll be ready soon.
Well, welcome to the first time on the Alpha podcast.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time coming.
What are these? What
Yeah, man. We'll grab yours. We could do a little toast.
Okay.
Oh, you got another one back there, huh? You got a tricky one. Oh.
This is the Mackenzie special, the Jessup 11 version.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Hey, he beat you to the drink.
This is real alpha right
I
here.
don't drink, so that's...
Yeah, I know,
that's
but
cool.
he beat you to one.
No.
All right, well, what you see
Jeez,
here is
Jessup.
the Polka House After Dark.
Yo.
Jay's got the Moon Sama.
Mhm.
Jessup's got some kind of special one there.
We got another here.
Yeah, that's the Moonbeam. I'll taste that one.
Oh,
I've had one of these before. But anyways, hey guys, thanks for coming. Some great feedback from everyone that's been interviewed by you guys in terms of like enjoying the podcast, enjoying this duo. You know, I think it's worked out really well, and
Yeah.
people are really happy. Thanks
has,
for coming,
man.
guys.
Yeah, thank you
Jeez.
for making a lot of this happen.
All right, one mini drink
Let's-
here.
All
try to
of the
say it.
equipment is no longer working because we spilled all over it.
Wow.
Oh man,
Yeah,
this
the
is
Moonbeam is
delicious.
great. First time I had one.
Man, he is good.
Yeah, Mackenzie's good.
So win mint.
Hey, yours? I gotta ask Mackenzie about that. We got some awesome artists from Artera Labs. They're the ones that do all the art for the NFTs. And then Tricky NFTs and his team, they do all of the composing of the actual NFT. So yeah, it's an awesome teamwork between Mackenzie, Tricky NFT, and Artera Labs.
Yeah. So can you give our audience and me a background on you?
Yeah, background on me in terms of like Polkadot specifically, just got into the ecosystem pretty early. You know, during the early days of Clubhouse, we would go into crypto rooms, which were primarily Bitcoin, and we'd get brought up on stage because we knew a few of the people like running those rooms, and then, you know, we'd talk a little bit about Bitcoin, but then we'd get into Polkadot, and, you know, naturally in Bitcoin maxi rooms, they'd be like, hey, you know, stop talking about Polkadot. So then my co-founders, Irvin, Tamara, Taylor, you know, myself, we just said, you know, let's just create this thing called Polka House. And we actually spelled the name wrong. It's actually not spelled that way in German. So our German friends get irritated about our spelling, but we just decided to leave it that way. And yeah, man, and that's how Polka House actually came to be, but it was never intended to be this serious thing that's now hosting Polkadot Decoded, you know, a year and a half later from its inception.
And how did you get into Web3 space in general?
Few people know this story, but I actually met Brad Garlinghouse in an event that I was at back in 2014, 2015. And he talked a little bit about XRP, and at the time I thought it was a good idea. You know, that obviously didn't play out the way it was originally intended to be. It, you know, turned into a very centralized mechanism. But the idea in general was interesting to me, so that, you know, kind of opened my eyes into the blockchain space and cryptocurrency. And so I started doing some research. And then just by happen chance, I happened to be in Ibiza in 2017 when the Polkadot team did their first ever retreat there. I talked to some of the guys that were there at the retreat. They told me a little bit about what they were doing, and yeah, the rest is kind of history.
Cool. And what are you working on now?
Ooh, well,
Anything big lately?
yeah, I mean, well, it's just a lot, you know. Yeah, Polka House, obviously, but you know, we also have an infrastructure company called Mission Control, where we're providing infrastructure support, which means, you know, nodes for several of the Parachains, other Layer 1 blockchains. We're really focusing on providing support on the node side for these Parachain projects that are coming up. And then, you know, we've got a small incubator fund. You know, some of the, you know, partners on there we'll name very soon, and you'll hear more about this incubator fund. But you know, our first project that we incubated there is Sumi. We presented yesterday for the first time ever here on the stage, and we're actually right in the middle of, you know, building it out. As you guys saw, it's, you know, fully working product. We haven't conducted any, you know, raises so far. We've been building in stealth mode and incubating the project. And you know, Gavin sent the first ever message across Sumi. It's basically like a decentralized wallet-to-wallet messaging system intending to, you know, essentially replace email on the blockchain. So use your wallet to log in. You can send a message. We're calling them notes, so Sumi notes. You can send a note to any other wallet, including, you know, Bitcoin and Ethereum wallets. We'll soon have support for, you know, Solana, Avalanche, and all the other ecosystems and the things built on Substrate. But the big thing that we want to do is kind of abstract the chain from this. Like people using a Solana wallet shouldn't care that it's built on Substrate. They're just going to log in using their wallet, send a message to another wallet address, and not even know that the thing's built on Substrate. But it's intended to replace email. You can add in text. Currently, there's a bunch of different gating mechanisms you can add to it. So you can gate by NFT, you can gate by token. So it's really efficient at essentially filtering out spam. Yeah.
What's so exciting about Sumi is you can think of lots of use cases within Web3, right? But it seems like you guys are really building something that's useful to people who don't even understand what's happening.
That's what we hope. That's exactly what we hope, is to just reach that non-crypto audience that maybe wants an alternative to Gmail, because as we know, all those companies, your data is essentially how you're paying for that service. So essentially what each note is, it's a transaction, right? So the moment I send you a note, the only person that can open that note is the wallet owner, right? So I no longer own that note once I send it to you. So you're the sole possessor of that note. And then if you reply back, then you send that message back to me, and now I'm the sole owner. We did build in an additional, more old school AES 256 kind of encryption layer where you could select to add a password. And so then I'd have to call you and be like, hey man, the password for this email is, whatever, Jussup is cool or whatever, right? And then
that's everybody's password.
Yeah, that's what I hear. But and then that way you would type that in, and then that's an additional layer of encryption that you can add to these messages.
One thing I really liked about Gavin's speech that we just saw in the opening there, he was kind of making a bit of a point that parity, Web3, these are not the authorities of the ecosystem, right? We want other people to step up and take some responsibility and build. And this is something that you've been an absolute expert in, and so casually, I might add. One of your superpowers, I think, is surrounding yourself with awesome people.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of why I don't, want people to tag me as Alex with Polka Häus. I think Polka Häus is its own thing. We've got everything from Parachain founders to team members, VCs, and our community is just ridiculous. And most most of the core people at Polka Häus, and then the core team, the mod team, which I have to give a special shout out to. Some of them actually traveled to Argentina on their own dime, I might add, to kind of help support this. We've got a really great core team. Cameron is out here from the Remark team, but also part of the Polka Häus team. Yoon from, TRGC and Mission Control is out here as well. Irvin always supporting from abroad. He actually missed his flight and whatever, but we've got a great team of folks. Tam's over in Berlin, representing Polka Häus over there. So it's just a really strong team of folks that really gets the things done for Polka Häus. And I think what Gavin said is right. The one thing that's kind of missing, and it's no one's fault, right? When we say there was nothing to market 6 months ago, it's just because teams were building this brand new protocol and a brand new coding language, and on a product that just got released, basically. You can kind of say the same about creating a support mechanism for those parachains, right? The parachains oftentimes hope for parity to support them a little bit more, but I think it's because there's this missing link. The teams were busy building, on the parity side, they were busy building the infrastructure layer of what Polkadot is. The parachain teams were busy building their own projects, and the thing that kind of got left hanging was this, I guess we can call it educational outreach for developers to kind of learn about Substrate, right? We had the Substrate Developer Academy, but that kind of got put on pause because the founders of the Substrate Developer Academy had to go build out their project, the call. And so it's just these things that happen when you're building something that's so brand new, and you have to gain that adoption somehow.
And there's so much work to be done too, right?
Yeah,
it's when you're looking for talent, when you're looking for people you want to work with and help make things happen, what catches your eye?
That's a great question, Jay. I mean, to be honest, it's just people that can operate on their own. And then, to kind of throw some love your way, I mean, that's kind of why I started associating with you, right? Because, I think I might have reached out to you the very first time. I don't think you reached out to me.
I think it's true.
Yeah, and I really liked what you were doing. You weren't really asking anyone for anything. You were just putting out good content and, hoping that someone would watch it.
Yeah.
And so, I thought that was like a really great initiative on your part. So we reached out to you and we were like, how can we help? And, we've talked about this in the past, but, helping you start up WAG Media, which we thought was an awesome initiative. Like we look for people that are just driven and wanting to kind of do things on their own.
It's crazy. This like decentralized thing we're building really rests on the centralized individuals
Yeah,
like
that's
taking
very
action
true.
and yeah,
Very true.
it's very cool, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we've mentioned it a few times, but a lot of this is like, it's a bet on the people building it. It's not even a bet on the projects or the tech anymore.
Yeah.
Even like I've talked to several investors during a round, and like that's what they're looking for, is they're betting on the person.
Hey, Alex, are you watching any other ecosystems besides Polkadot and Kusama?
Yeah, I mean, that's the one unique thing I think about what we do at Polka House. Our network is pretty broad, right? Irvin, one of our co-founders, he's one of the core developers over on Solana. Like he's building a project over there called the Open Era, and he's building a wallet that can work both on Solana and eventually on Polkadot. He built a mini app for Moonbeam for their governance project, and we don't like to be solely focused on just Polkadot and Kusama, because we do see that there's value with talking to other blockchains. One thing I do realize, because again of our relationship with other parachain teams, is that we do hear a lot of like, let's just call them complaints or things that could be improved. But we hear those same exact things from teams building on Solana, teams building on Avalanche. They have those same issues that the teams on Polkadot have, and so it's that thing that the grass is always greener.
Totally.
But if you know about these things on all these other ecosystems, then maybe you can appreciate the ecosystem you're building on a little more.
What are the things that you're excited for in this space?
Ooh, that's a great question, dude. I mean, there's a lot. I really do want to see some other utilities for NFTs, and I think that that's going to really change a lot of the kind of real world transactional processes that we have. And I think some of these NFT protocols and the newer NFT standards are really set up to kind of take advantage of that opportunity. There's also some really interesting DeFi projects that I'm seeing start to pop up, which are a lot more conservative and thinking about almost like a hybrid finance model, and I think that's actually more in line with how we get to this greater adoption in crypto. I think the period of these unsustainable yields, it's got to stop, right?
Yeah.
And I'm starting to see protocols adopting more sustainable approaches to their DeFi.
Less Ponzi.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's your favorite Ponzi of all time?
So do you collect NFTs?
I actually do not.
You do not.
No, man. Very few people know this. Yeah, I still to this day have not purchased a single NFT. Irvin told me about the Bored Apes like super early.
Oh, no.
Yeah, man. I passed. Tamara told me about the eggs super early. I passed. My wallet does have some NFTs. They've been gifted to me by friends and the like, but I still to this day have not bought a single one.
There's 6 questions I can't ask now.
What's your favorite NFT you've ever been gifted?
So the way I appreciate art is I do really like unique art, one of ones. The art I have hanging on my walls in my home are art pieces that I've collected in my travels when I primarily do disaster response work. And so I really like, when I'm there to, support some local artist and pick up an original art piece and bring it home, put it on my wall, and that way it's got a story behind it.
Yeah.
And so the art pieces I look for on the NFT side are more that one of one kind of unique kind of art piece. And, for example, the singular marketplace on Remark, I really like Marlua. I'm a fan of her art.
Yes.
I actually reached out to her to get her art in our NFT tunnel.
Looks good.
And it looks beautiful up there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How do you feel this turned out? What do you think of Argentina? What do you think of the event?
Man, I mean, it was certainly a challenge to put it on. For those that don't know, we literally did this in 4 weeks. Literally was handed the project in about 4 weeks ago. Luckily, I found this amazing production team. Marina and her team were just marvelous. They're local. And so it really enabled me to kind of share my vision with them in terms of what we wanted to do here, and they executed it beautifully. And so, yeah, I think it turned out great. We've gotten some really good feedback from people here, and then also people abroad. Like people that are at the other Decoded events are like, really feeling some envy of how this one turned out, a lot of FOMO. Yeah, but no, I do want to give a special shout out to like the Moonbeam team, for example, because they did the very same thing. They took over the New York event 4 weeks ago. I mean, I've been talking to their team. We've been kind of sharing the challenges we both experienced. And it was difficult to throw this event, and they did a great job in New York as well. And it was just fun to kind of try it this way.
I think it's hard to imagine unless you're here, just like the massive scope of this event. It's incredible what you guys pulled off. 4 weeks of mayhem to make this happen.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And to be honest, like that's really the thing that we like to do for Polka House. Like I don't know if you guys can hear, but we just threw up like a band we brought in from Mexico called Nortec. It's ridiculous. They just started playing right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we like to make our events an experience for people. We don't want them to be boring. Polka House has a signature ball pit at all of our events. You had people laying in there watching the talks from the ball pit. We had a bunch of games and stuff. We want to make these things fun. You remember the experiences in your life. You don't remember going to a talk. You remember your experience. And that's kind of what we want to do for our events.
So what's next?
Oh. But we can kind of close with this to kind of go enjoy the party with three of us. But next for us, we really want to kick off what we're going to call something like a world tour for Polkadot. Our plan is to kick off something in Mexico City and then go on about a 6-city tour across the world and kind of bring the ecosystem to where the people are. That's really what we want to do.
I'll be there. You're going to be there?
Yeah, I want both of you guys there. And apparently Gav wants both of you guys there. I hear he really enjoyed your interview yesterday and wants to do another one. So yeah, we definitely need to bring you guys to all of
go.
Well, we'll have many more. And this was a 2-day event. Wild. These world tours is going to be a week long, 5 days?
Yeah, the idea is like a 6-day, kind of like a hackathon, but we really want to do it a little bit different. I'm not going to give out too many details, but I will say, we want to not just focus on developers. There's a huge gap in crypto in the marketing space. We want to go after folks that are in marketing that aren't in crypto, bring them in, teach them how to market to the crypto community. Substrate has a huge issue with auditing. We want to bring in auditing firms to learn about Substrate, learn about how to audit Substrate, so that if we do onboard 40 new Parachains, we can get them audited quickly and products out.
So I want to make a note. I was the only one to really finish this because there was no alcohol in it.
Let it be known.
Let it be known.
Yo,
I'm not an alcoholic. I didn't just chug this.
Well, Jay, Jessup, I look forward to more with you guys, man. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thank you very much.